Australian English is full of idioms, and there is an idiom even in there. Full. You're thinking of a language as a bucket, and it's full up with idioms. Okay, so we're talking in idioms all the time. Every language has its own idioms, but the idiom we use in English is not the same as the idioms they use in their languages. I came across one of the texts that I had that I was analysing. This lady said to me, my hands were holding me. And she kept on telling the story there. Her hands were holding her. It just didn't seem to fit. I could not work out what it was. And when I went and asked for the meaning, she laughed and she said that she was very busy. In English, we'd probably say our hands were full. Yeah. But to them, to her, she was saying her hands are... And you come across their idioms as well. But be aware that we are full of idioms. And if anyone is learning English as a second language, they can have perfect academic English that they've learnt in another country and come to Australia and they do not know what we're talking about. There was a fellow who I heard on radio, it was hilarious. I think it might have been on Conversations, this is years ago. And he'd come from South Africa or somewhere as a doctor, and he'd joined the Royal Flying Doctor Service, and that was his ideal. Oh, wow, come to Australia and be a Royal Flying Doctor. And he was on call, and he'd got a radio call, and somebody had said, my mate is really crook, doctor. He's really crook. And he said, I had no idea what really crook was. I had no... What was he talking about? He couldn't reference it at all. And anyway, he said he'd get back to the man. And he said, well, yeah. He said, well, he's really crook. So the doctor then rang somebody who wasn't on call, another doctor, and said, this fellow out on such and such a station says that his mate is really crook. What does that mean? And he was given in very short, swift terms that the man was extremely ill and to get a plane out there quick. So, see, that's something we talk about, people being crook. We don't stop to think about what that means. So we're talking in idioms all the time that, like even one English speaker to another English speaker, they don't know. And we have to be aware of what, we often call it picture language when we're talking, because it actually is giving a picture, but the picture we give for something is not the picture another language will give for it. And so we need to actually have that in mind all the time as well. Yeah, and using mob as a plural is in English up here, not just Aboriginal English, but mainstream English up here. Whereas you go down to other places and you start using, oh, that's that mob over there that have got that, and people will think you're calling them cattle. That is a huge thing, and we speak in idioms so much that we don't even know we're talking in them. And that's a thing that we need to be alert to.